The crypto market is falling today, and you can see from my face that I'm not handling this one well. So as it currently stands, Bitcoin at 118,000, Ethereum back at 4,100, XRP back to the freaking trenches of $2.70. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not loving this right now, all right? In the simplest of terms, today was a pretty good day. The morning was nice. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high earlier this week. And to then open my laptop and see this monstrosity, atrocity, disgusting. But we should not forget what type of months we're into right now. And what I mean with that is the basis of the month should be, well, that we're going to end it green, right? We've talked about it before. September usually leads into a positive October every single time thus far. And actually, it's been a pretty good October every single month after a green September as well. Plus, together with the fact that usually Q4, the last 3 months of the year, are also the best. If you take a look at it historically, these are the best 3 months. I still think that everything will be fine. But the problem is on the short term. And here's the thing. I've been making videos about cryptos for what? Almost 9 years now. Times is really going fast, right? We're moving. And one thing that's been consistent throughout all this time is the idea of as long as you just buy, shut your ass up, don't overthink it, and buy more, things turn out pretty nicely, right? The problem is when you start thinking about it too narrow-minded. Or you think, oh, you know what, the market's going down, I should sell because I can either buy back cheaper, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, or because you think this is where everything goes to zero. One thing I'll tell you right now, every single person who's ever thought from here on forward it's going to zero, talking about crypto as a concept, has been wrong because we've not done it yet. The same applies to the stock market or gold. And essentially, the only battle you've got for yourself is you and your selling pattern. And what I mean with that is, well, technically speaking, since these industries have been up only, you never really had to sell. But where you lose a lot of money is because the price goes up a ton, you make a ton on paper, and if you never sell, it goes down a ton again to only repeat. And over time, you still do well, but on the short term, you do bad. The hardest part about making money in crypto, though, is actually realizing those gains. But then again, I'll remind y'all that all of that is only on a short-term basis, though. As it currently stands, XRP, by the way, has not yet broken out towards the downside. Things are not really looking that bad. And if we start taking a look at our major coins, or actually just take a look at Bitcoin, really, what we're witnessing today, what we're witnessing this week, in the grand scheme of things is nothing. And as I've described for many years now, I still expect Bitcoin to reach 250K, but at least 150K this season. And the real crazy growth spurt I don't think has happened just quite yet. We're still waiting for it. And fun fact, sometimes when I look at this chart, for example here, I was drawing this out in 2020. One funny thing you'll see is every single time, right, as the market is moving somewhere, you think, what if this time is different? What if this time is different? But it's never been. I remember making videos here in this dip in 2020 when things were looking awful. Of course, I was sweating my ass off a little bit, but one thing I remembered is as long as you continue to believe, you continue to buy, things will be all right. Sure, I might have had some losing days. Sure, I might have actually gotten wrecked on a few trades. But in the end, we took it from 3-something thousand all the way towards 120,000 by just being patient and not being a little whiny ass. So even though maybe I'd never sold in the 2021 bull market then, never sold that top, and you hated your life when all of a sudden your gains were evaporated because the market went down 80%, again, give it some time like we are right now, and you can see where we're at. Point of my thesis here is that all this stuff might break you mentally, but remember that thus far there have been no signs that this stuff is going to zero. Matter of fact, the adoption is only increasing, and so funnily enough, essentially the main thing I'm focusing on every single day is just making sure my bots don't get wrecked because they buy on the way down, they buy that dip and they sell as the market moves up. And sure, I can sometimes have crazy drawdowns and my account can be down $100,000 or $200,000 one day and then up a few $100,000 the next. It is all part of the greater plan. And by the way, a link for Payonix is the platform I trade bots on is down below. And remember, if my bots are down, you're basically getting yourself a better entry than where I started at, which is positive because thus far, this has been the best strategy for trading crypto that I've ever found. Of course, I'm not making guarantees, but it's basically you can set all the parameters for yourself. Where do you want to buy? Where do you want to sell? How do you want the bot to work? And then let it do it automatically for you. It's literally the best system I've ever found because Well, I do it this way exactly as well manually, but that takes so much freaking time. And I'll also show you another chart here. Remember what CZ said. He's the founder of Binance. Not predicting the future and don't get too excited. A September in a past, my first crypto cycle, just data. The only thing I want to interpret from this is if you look back at the history, throughout this little period here, for example, the September month, fun fact, throughout this time, people hated their lives as well. But then if they could just hold on a little bit longer, just a few months further, you can see how beautiful and how exponential things were, right? Just remember, sometimes you can't see the freaking distance from where you're standing, right? Or you can't see a freaking building a kilometer away. But just realize as you keep on walking, even though it looks like an infinite horizon, you will get to your freaking destination. It might be a hard path, all right? It might have a lot of ups and freaking downs. It might be a rocky freaking ride if you're on a bicycle or a little tricycle. I don't know what you're riding. But just know that eventually you'll get there. And so, what is the point of the video? Hold the freaking line! All right, stay strong. Remember, we've been through this many a times, all right? I'm still here. Take a look at the comment section if you're still holding. Let everybody know in the comment section. Make sure you press that like button, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video very soon. But I'm not really doing too much, just buying that dip whenever I get the chance to, and that's really about it.